Hi, welcome to Bubby's Reading Circle. I hope you enjoy our book today. Make sure you look us up on the web for more books.
Let's read a book, everybody. Here, Danny, have some bread. Let's all have a snack and read a book. Here you go. Danny. Sophia.
For all the grandbabies, and a special shout out to Bandera Library for the books today. Thank you very much, guys.
Pet Boy by Keith Graves. Squiggy, a pet boy. Stanley collected pets. He purchased them in singles and matching color sets. Big or small, dry or wet, he loved to buy new pets. He studied each one carefully and played with it a while. Then he locked it in a cage and stacked it in a pile. Wow, look at all those pets all stacked up. On Tuesdays, Stanley's favorite pet was his giant albacore. By Wednesday, all the new was gone. Stanley soon grew bored. Come play with us, his lonely pets chirped and barked and purred. Feed us, pet us, take us out. Stanley didn't hear a word. He wanted something unique that could swim and fly and hop. So he looked around and finally found an undiscovered shop. Everywhere Stanley looked, the weirdest creatures met his gaze. Snakes with wings and 7 eyes and singing manta rays. What do we have here? Asked a man with turquoise ears. I'm sorry if I startled you. Please put aside your fears. I'd like to buy a pet, said Stanley, one with many skills. My old pets bore me with their tricks. I'm looking for some thrills. I like a thrill as well, said the man, glancing from shelf to shelf. I trade in quirky oddities, rather like yourself. A blazing yellow laser zapped Stanley between the eyes. His legs wouldn't run, his body was stunned. He was completely immobilized. The man threw Stanley in a cage on his galactic rocket ship. They blasted off with sonic boom and into space they zipped. Over a spiral nebulae, they through cold, uncharted wastes. With a bump, they finally landed in a most outlandish place. Stanley rubbed his eyes, things were a blur. He felt around a metal cage, stinking birds with fur. A room was filled with squawking, gawking, squeaking things galore. All for sale, including him, an alien pet store. Freaky customers shook his cage when Stanley tried to hide. A 3-eyed buyer said, I'll take this one. Stanley was horrified. My name is Jopnar, he drooled and grinned. I'll call you Zuzuzar. And just to keep you safe and sound, I'll put you in this jar. Stanley banged and kicked the jar and yelled, hey, let me go. My name is Stanley, I'm not your pet. I'm just a kid, you know. Jopnar said, now do some tricks. Fetch the orb, bring it here. Catch the flying saucer as I fling it through the atmosphere. I'll never do those stupid tricks no matter what you say. Everything that Jopnar asked, Stanley disobeyed. Jopnar wondered, what have I done to make my pet so mad? I'll give him lots of tasty food and a comfy sleeping bed. This food is yucky, Stanley said. I'm not a parakeet. I think I'll run away from here when Jopnar falls asleep. Stanley opened the jar and tiptoed out and scampered off with glee. I don't know where I'll go, he thought, but at least I'm finally free. Stanley watched the stars and longed for home. He shivered in the frost. Then something swooped and snatched him up, a giant iron moth. The moth brought Stanley to the pound and dropped him in the clink, where strays not claimed by end of day are soon to be extinct. As the sun began to sink, Stanley's hopes were running out. The inmates wailed their final meal was rocks with sauerkraut. I need a friend, said Stanley. I really miss my pets. I wonder if they're missing me or if they will forget. The door burst open. Jopner yelled, "Hey, Zuzu Czar, it's me. Just in time to save you all. Now let's go home. You're free." Thanks, said Stanley. You saved my life. Friends like you are few. But I'm not happy in this jar or living here with you. My home is in a galaxy we call the Milky Way. I must get back. My pets have not been fed since Saturday. Jopner said I should return you to your native habitat. So they rented out a spaceship at the local astromat. They took a shortcut to the Earth at 20-minute flight. Stanley yelled, "Hooray, I'm home." His house was now in sight. Go free, said Jopner. I have returned you to the wild. I must return to Astromat. They charge me by the mile. Stanley waved goodbye and ran to see his long-neglected friends. They must be starving, worried, sick, wondering where I've been. Stanley opened every cage and said, I'll offer you a deal. You're free to go, but if you stay, you'll never miss a meal. He treated them like royalty. He made them lemonade. He thanked his lucky stars for the friends that he had made. And Stanley's pets all stayed. The end.
Come join us again tomorrow for another story from Bubby's Barnyard. Join us on the web for more books anytime.